of Extraordinary Ordinary Women, and I'm Margherita. And I'm excited to be able to share with you today stories of ordinary women, women in our community, perhaps even your next door neighbour, women who have had a dream or an idea and followed it through to fruition. Their stories will encourage you, uplift you, and hopefully inspire the seeds of greatness within your heart. Today on Extraordinary Ordinary Women, I'm speaking with Cyana Duong. Now, sometimes we meet people whose stories remind us just how resilient the human spirit can be. My guest today is one of those people. Born in Vietnam and arriving in Australia as a young woman, Cyana faced challenge after challenge. From navigating a new country and culture to periods of financial hardship and uncertainty. Her journey has been anything but easy, but she kept moving forward. It was through those experiences that Cyana found a way to transform adversity into opportunity. And what emerged from that journey is not only a successful flower business, Camie Fleur, but a vision driven by a love of creativity, a passion for sustainability, and a deep desire to make a difference. Camie Fleur is a business that challenges traditional thinking around floristry while embracing environmental responsibility and social impact. It's built on creativity, sustainability, compassion, and a desire to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. Her vision extends far beyond flowers. Inspired in part by her family, her experiences, and her desire to create meaningful opportunities for others, including people living with disabilities. And that has me intrigued. I'm looking forward to learning more about that. So, on that note, I am delighted to welcome Cyana Duong to our conversation today. And so, without further ado, welcome, Cyana, to Extraordinary Ordinary Women.
My absolute pleasure, and thank you for having me, Margherita.
Likewise, pleasure here, and look forward to hearing your story. So, Cyana, before we dive into your story, it's always interesting to know where people are located. Whereabouts are you joining us from today?
I am joining an extraordinary woman from Sydney, and or you call it Gardaland Land. Yeah.
Right. I love visiting Sydney, but the country, the rural life has my heart. So, Cyana, what was happening in your life that prompted you to start Camie Fleur? Take us back
Thank
to the
you
beginning.
for yeah, I thank you for asking me these questions. I came to Australia at 17 with a suitcase and barely any English and a dream that I couldn't even fully articulate yet. My parents sold my family home in Hanoi to fund my future here, and that's
Wow.
not something you forget. That weight like really stayed with me. But let me go back to even further. My mom was pregnant, and the doctor has no idea she was carrying twins. They pulled me out first, and then Ian came after. And she was deprived of oxygen. And Ian
Wow.
never grew up the same way I did. We couldn't talk the same way sister talk, and we communicated through eye contact or through play. And I think about that a lot, and how much of life come down to timing, to circumstance, and to things that are completely outside of your control. So growing up, my grandfather used to make paper flowers by hand for us. And those flowers really meant everything. And beauty made with intention and made with love. So the memory, it's my favorite memory that's keep my heart warm. And when I started learning things and finding a job in Australia, here I was really heartbroken and watching, a lot of truckloads of fresh imported flowers get thrown away after a single event. And I went to Sydney Flowers Market and learned that 70% of the flowers are from overseas. And then I kept thinking, what if flowers don't have to die? And what if they could be beautiful and kind to the earth? And what if they could create jobs for like women like, me coming to Australia or like here? And I think that's when Camie Fleur was really like rooted in me. And Camie Fleur wasn't born from a business plan. It was really from my grief, the love and the refusal for like accept waste. And honestly, it's a lot of like stubborn hope at a time. Yeah.
So can I delve into your background? What was it that prompted you to leave Hanoi and come to Australia by yourself?
Well, it's opportunity. Yeah.
Opportunity, right? Yes.
And also, I think Australia has always like give me, I think opportunities, hope, and it's a country that I was known to about the environment and the animals, and that was simple at a time for me. Like a teenager, that's all I saw on television.
Right. Wow, that is an incredible journey, even just there. And so just by chance being at the Sydney Market Flowers, it started to evolve from there. So what challenges did you face along the way? What kept you going during those times? And I imagine coming from one culture into another culture, there were quite a lot of challenges and probably quite a lot of big challenges.
Yeah, where do I even start
What do you say?
with challenges? I think, I arrived at 17 and I couldn't understand what people were saying to me. So it's just simple things like, you're going to a shop or you're going to the train station and it felt impossible. I was really isolated in a way
Yes.
that I think it's hard to describe. And I couldn't get a job as an international student. And, like as you say, where the culture, the language, and all these things add up,
Yeah.
there was a period that I didn't have a stable like housing. I didn't have a place to stay. And I was essentially homeless like for a short time. We're trying to survive while I was studying. My parent has to sell everything to get me here, and that's not a small things to carry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I finally launched my business, and within weeks, COVID hit.
Oh, dear. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So
So
then
all
you pivoted. You
yeah.
pivoted, you
So
turned. Yes.
exactly. All the events, all my event got canceled. That was like all the first lot of the event that I got. I was so excited when I got the job, but then, COVID hits and all of that disappear. All of that excitements and hopes and, joy was disappear. And every wedding's on hold, every events stop. The whole premises like disappear overnight. Yeah, that was, and yeah, I had to pivot it. I think at a time, human connection to me was from a computer, was on the phone, like with technology.
Yeah.
So I pivoted everything to like online, sending gifts and sending the everlasting flowers to loved one during COVID. And that's what happened. And that's when I also met Mandy Richards, and who found Global Sister. Honestly, it came exactly the right moment. Like suddenly I was in a room full of women who got it, who understand. like a woman who doesn't come from the same background, and you know, like, and also like meet some single mom or woman who been knocked down and quietly rebuilding. Like Mandy creates something that really special there. And you know, like it wasn't just like business guidance, but it was like community. And when you've been doing everything alone, that feels like oxygen. I feel like a fish that put in the ocean that I can swim. After joining Global Sister, my like revenue went up, together with the help to guide my pivoting through COVID period. But more but than the numbers, like I finally felt like I belong somewhere. And sometimes you don't need a big break. You just need to find the right community and find your right people.
Yeah. Global Sisters is an amazing organisation, and it has encouraged lots and lots of women. I think actually over 10,000 women through the organisation. It's just incredible. And it was amazing that for such a young person to be able to be engulfed in COVID, like so many people were, and businesses closed down overnight, didn't they? But to be able to pivot and take your flower business online was sensational. If you could speak to your younger self, what would you tell that person in hindsight, in moving forward, in following their dream?
There's a saying I live by. If you fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like we are told, like me and my friends, you know, like we are told to move fast, to go viral, like to build a personal brand, but nobody talk about like years of like invisible struggle before any of that. Nobody
Yes.
posts about like sleeping on the shared bedroom floor or like crying because you can't understand your lecturer, you know. So I think don't measure your chapter like one against someone else chapter 10, and don't wait until you feel ready, because that feeling would might not never comes. I launched a business when I could barely communicate. I pivot during a pandemic, and I built something from the bedroom with no funding and no roadmap. And I think the world needs more entrepreneurs who felt real hardship, because you build differently
You do.
when you
You do.
know what's at stake. So fall as many times as you need to, but just make sure you always stand up one more time than you fall.
Absolutely. And that is amazing insight. Because you're so right. We are presented on social media with successful people, and there very rarely is this story communicated of the hardship that goes beforehand, the years of hardship in building. So, what has been the most rewarding part of this challenging journey?
Uh, it feels so unreal to like to get to thank you for the question, and I get to say all this. The rewardings over this whole journey is like the moment I realized this was working, is like really working. I was standing in my apartment at like 5 a.m. arranging flowers, and I just started crying, like happy tears. Because I
Yes.
remember the girl who couldn't pay rent, like who couldn't speak English, who has no idea if she ever find her place here. And we now save over 30 tons of floral waste and create 11 jobs. And mostly
Uh,
for immigrant and women come from disadvantaged background, and pay over 100, no, now like pay over 200,000 to underserved women in the community. And I had a dream. I really wanted to be able to provide and extend this and provide job for people with disability, just like he and my twin sister. And like those number means everything to me, because I know that like it keeps me going. It's like behind everyone is a person who need a chance. And I just want to honor my sister through this work. Hien is my greatest inspiration. Like every bouquet we make, I think of her. And the business is for her and for every woman who's been told that she can't.
What comes to mind is, you mentioned gratitude, making the flowers, looking back to that woman who couldn't afford rent, sleeping on people's sofas, etc. It does do us good to every now and then look back and just see where we started from and where we are at the moment. And I noticed on your website that you do support charities. There's a little bit at the bottom, isn't there, that says what goes to charities. And your amazing conviction of, wow, struggling to survive and now being at a point where you employ 11 women, that must feel so good. That must be so rewarding. And choosing to employ women, immigrants, women who need the work. It's, kudos to you, Cyana. It's
Thank
very, it's a beautiful, beautiful story. It's lovely. So
Thank you.
what
I really hope that I still have a dream. I still really hope that we can do that for people with disability to bring joy and work. I really
oh,
do hope that we can achieve that.
well, it sounds like that's what you are doing. That's incredible work. So you've just extended the vision of putting flowers together for people's enjoyment. It's just beautiful. So what words of wisdom would you like to leave our audience with today? And I feel already that you've left quite a few.
Yeah, I think, again, if you fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Yes, that was my gold nugget.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yes. And hang on to that dream and just keep going.
that's right. Exactly right.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Cyana, thank you for sharing your story with us today. Your story reminds us that extraordinary women are not born extraordinary. They become extraordinary through the choices they make, the challenges they overcome, and the difference they choose to make along the way. And oh my gosh, look at the differences you've chosen to make. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for
So,
having me, and thank you for this, like giving me opportunities to spread the words.
oh, that was my pleasure. And there'll be a link in the description box for people to be able to contact your business. So, to those watching, thank you for joining us today. I look forward to sharing the story of another extraordinary, ordinary woman with you all. And if you enjoy hearing the stories of ordinary women doing extraordinary things, I invite you to subscribe and join us for future conversations. With heart, Margherita. Thank you again, Cyana.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Margarita. I love your words and your tone and the program that you're doing right now. I definitely will be subscribing and looking forward to hearing next story.
Lovely. Thank you for that. Okay, bye.
Bye, Margarita.